fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I'm super excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a first impression on the new Juvia's Place Warrior 3 palette, which just launched. This was actually sent to me as PR. I am on the PR list for Juvia's Place, which feels so crazy and weird and not even real, but I'm so excited to get to play with this and hopefully do a really helpful video for y'all. I went ahead and pulled out what I'm pretty sure is all of my Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes, and at the end of the video I'm going to be doing some comparisons for anyone who is wondering if this palette can be duped with other palettes that they already have, especially because it reminded me of the Zulu palette. That's the one I'm the most excited to compare it to, so that'll be at the end if you're curious. But for now, we're just going to do my normal first impression style video. Just going to go ahead and swatch this and then do an eye look, and I'll give you my first thoughts from using it, although as you can tell I'm pretty familiar with the Juvia's Place formula, so I don't like to call first impressions reviews, but if it performs the way that Juvia's Place normally performs, then I feel like I can give a pretty solid thoughts on this palette. You can kind of hear it jiggling around. It did have bubble wrap, but I took it out to take Instagram photos, and without even thinking I just put it back in. So this is what the packaging looks like. There is a net weight of 32.4 grams / 1.14 ounces. It says it's going to be good for 24 months, and Juvia's Place is cruelty free. I absolutely love the packaging. I think it is just so visually stunning. I actually just noticed this, and it's the same for the Fumi Queen palette, but I didn't even realize it at the time because it's less obvious because this is a white background. But they have definitely upgraded the packaging in the aspects of it being like super shiny, and it feels really, really nice. All of their old palettes have more of a flat matte packaging, whereas this kind of has a sheen to it, which the Fumi palette does as well, but it's less obvious, which is why I didn't notice until just now. So I think it looks really, really nice. So here is the inside. I love the packaging up here. I think it is so stunning, and it's just cool to see the packaging get better and better. So here's the color story we're working with. There are 7 matte shades and 2 metallics. I do think it's pretty, and I definitely like elements of it. I wasn't personally planning on purchasing this palette just because I'm on a low buy and I have a palette limit. I only buy 2 palettes per month unless one isn't from a new brand, so there's a little bit of wiggle room there. But I've been pretty good at sticking to my rules, so I liked this. But because of my low buy rules, it's kind of helped me relieve some of that like collectioning, like I have to have them all feeling with Juvia's Place, which they're the only brand I feel like that about. The only palette I don't have is the coral one that they came out with, I think a few months ago, but I am really grateful to own it, and I will definitely be using it. It's kind of a rainbow palette, but looking at it, it's not a generic rainbow palette because some of these tones over here are more grungy and they're not primary colors, which a lot of rainbow palettes are just primary colors. So it's nice to see that. And then I think the really hot pink and the baby blue is kind of an interesting aspect to add. And then also adding in that these two are both cool tones, I think is really interesting. So I'm excited to see what kind of color stories I end up doing with this. So let's go ahead and start swatching. Alright, so first we have the shade Masai, which is a deep green matte shade, and then, oh gosh, Nzinga, it's a yellow. Okay, that one feels a little bit more sheer. It looks to be actually a true kind of lighter yellow. I'm wondering if maybe these are actually primary colors, and because of the blue background, it throws them off and makes them look a little bit different than they are. And then next we have Kahina, which looks like a really, really deep red. I'm actually surprised. That feels incredibly soft. It almost feels velvety. Normally the Juvia's Place reds are a little bit more dry, so that feels really, really nice. Okay, yeah, those look pretty primary. Alright, next we have the shade Jarawa, which is like a bright orange. Has a little bit of a rusty undertone. And then Candice is a super bright purple. That one is swatching a little bit sheer. Has kind of a pinky Barbie kind of tone to it, but it's really pretty. And then we have Fenty, which is the hot pink. Alright, last row. Super excited. I always get so like hype to swatch Juvia's Place metallics because they are just, oh my gosh, this color. This is Congo. Oh, it is so beautiful. Oh, they're so good. It's kind of like a light blue, but it almost has a little, just the tiniest amount of like periwinkle purple to it. Oh, that is so stunning. I feel like Juvia's place, whoever does their color stories must love metallic blue because they have so many metallic blues. It's not even funny, but I'm not complaining. And then next we have Karama, which is a silver, but it's almost like a purpley silver. It's kind of like a taupe. Yeah, it's a silver, but it has just the tiniest little touch of purple to it. So that's really pretty. And then last but not least is the shade Gola, which is that really beautiful light blue. Again, it feels so like velvety. Looks really pretty. Oh gosh. Okay, so now definitely looking at swatches, I would say it does look pretty much like a rainbow palette. You've got all your bases covered, but that actually makes me excited for the comparison to the Zulu palette because the Zulu has a lot of secondary colors in it. But I'm really excited about the shimmers that they chose, and I'm like trying to decide what type of look to do today. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with the light blue. And I'm going to go ahead and pop that right into my crease as my transition shade. Just going in with a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more and just slowly build it up. Such a beautiful sky blue. My goodness. Actually, you know what this shade reminds me of? It's identical to a color in the Menagerie Cosmetics Whale Song palette that I love. I'll have to pull that out and compare because they look the exact same on the eye. So far, it's building up really nicely, blending easily. So this is the Menagerie Whale Song palette, and this shade right here, Cetacean, they apply the exact same, and I absolutely love that shade. So it reminded me of it right away. Now I'm going to go ahead and dip into the green, and I'm going to start that off in my outer corner. And then just buff it in circular motions so that it'll blend first and foremost, and then I'll go ahead and add more and build it up. So the green is definitely building up nicely. I'm going to go ahead and grab my previous brush and just lightly blend in between the two shades. Part of me does want to do a monochromatic blue and green look and just mirror what's on my upper eyelid to my lower lash line. I think that would be really beautiful, but I feel like I should play with more shades in the palette, so I'm going to go ahead and incorporate the blue on the lower lash line, but I'm going to also kind of incorporate the pink and the purple. So I'm going to start off with the purple first, and I'm going to pop that onto the outer third of my lower lash line, just kind of smudging it in. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and grab the pink. Just gonna pop that onto the middle of my lower lash line. And then grabbing the matte blue again. I'm thinking maybe I should have done that on the middle of my lower lash line so that the colors would blend more seamlessly from pink to blue to purple, but it's fine. I kind of love this little section of the palette here because I live for a cotton candy eye, pink and blue together. It's just so pretty. Alright, so for my lid, I'm going to go ahead and grab Congo. Of course, how could I not? It is so stunning. And I'm going to kind of do one of my looks where I don't really put it like very precise. I'm just going to kind of add it all over the lid and then blend it in just a touch into the crease. What a beautiful shade. Oh my gosh. So pretty. So pigmented as well. I did get a touch of fallout from that. Alright, last but not least, for my inner corner, I'm going to go ahead and grab that silvery taupey purpley shade. I'm actually just going to go ahead and flip that brush around. This is the brush that came with the Urban Decay Electric palette. So it's a little bit dark for my inner corner, but I just wanted to try it here. I'm going to kind of wrap it around. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the look by grabbing the Linda Howberry Calm Mood pencil, throwing that in my waterline, and then using the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. So the reason I did the green on the waterline was just to kind of incorporate what's happening on the lid. down below and kind of mirror in a way, and I think it actually did kind of bring it all together, and it's a really fun color scheme. So I thought really quickly I'd go ahead and finish up my face on camera with y'all, because I have the Fumi times Juvia's Place Queen palette, and I've been using it as a face palette more than as an eyeshadow palette. So I thought I would just go ahead and use it today. I'm going to start off with the shade Sister to Sister as my blush, and then I'm going to use FDV Approved as my highlighter, which I have really been enjoying this palette. I think it's really beautiful. I actually did the red blush one day and I used it very, very lightly, but it was just such a stunning flush. And if you go in very carefully, if you have fair skin, I think the red can be beautiful. So I am enjoying it, and I want to do like some type of updated first impression video, and I'll give my full thoughts on it. But so far, so good. And then I'm going to go ahead and I dropped my brush. And then FDV Approved is so beautiful. It's very, very similar to the Amrezy highlighter. And then for lips today, I'm going to go ahead and throw on the e.l.f. Pink Kiss Lip Oil. This is just my go-to for when I have a cool toned eye on. Alright, so this is the finished look, and I'm actually kind of surprised at how much I love how it turned out. I feel like this palette is kind of a challenge for me. When I look at it, I don't just immediately think like, this is the look I'm going to do. And this was kind of like, I just kind of went with it. This was not planned. And I love how it turned out, so I think that's really fun. And as I played with it, I got more inspired. I really want to do a look with the pink in the crease, the purple in the outer V, and then this taupey shade all over the lid. I think next to the purple, it'll be really beautiful as well. And then, you know, there's some different warm tones, which I'm not quite as excited to play with, but I could still see how they would be fun. And if you love that kind of classic, super warm crease with a blue lid, you could definitely achieve that with this palette as well. So I think I'm kind of pleasantly surprised by the color story. It's intriguing. So as far as the quality goes, feels like the same Juvia's Place quality that I'm used to. The metallics are super blinding and foiled and very easy to apply with a brush. The mattes that I tried today were all very blendable, but also more on the buildable side, kind of added a little bit of layers to get the depth that I wanted, but very, very easy and beginner friendly to work with. And also I felt like from swatching them, the texture was a little different. Some of the shades felt very velvety, whereas in the past there's been a little bit of inconsistencies with the matte. So I feel like some of the other Juvia's Place mattes I have can tend to be more on the dry side if they have a red dye in them, but these felt so buttery smooth. However, I felt like they performed basically the same. I mean, still pretty easy relatively to blend, but of course I really want to do more work with the purple, because I feel like that can be a trickier shade to formulate. And then also the red, I'm curious to see how that'll end up looking applied on the lid, and if it'll pull orange or pink or be a true red. So there's definitely more I want to do with this, but so far I'm very, very happy and I'm excited, and thank you to Juvia's Place for sending this to me. So what I'm going to do to make this productive but also quick is I'm going to hold up the Warrior palette next to each palette so you can visually see them beside each other, and if there's any colors I feel like are personally really close, I'll go ahead and swatch those. So we're going to leave the Zulu towards the end because that's probably going to be the most compared of two palettes. Okay, so I have the Afrique palette here, and I've noticed that these both have a yellow, an orange, a red, and a green, so I'm going to go ahead and swatch all four of those. So here is Afrique, here is Warrior 3, here's Afrique, and Warrior 3. Those look pretty similar. Here's Afrique, Warrior, Afrique, Warrior. I think the Warrior 3 one looks a little bit more pigmented. And next we have the Saharan one, which the only color here that looks similar to me is the burnt orange. Okay, these two are Saharan, and this is Warrior 3. Here's the Nubian, which I don't find any colors here to be comparable. Here's the Nubian 2, which again, I don't see anything comparable. Okay, so here is the Magic palette, and the only one here that I think is comparable is this silvery taupey shade. I'm going to swatch that next to Karama. Here's Warrior 3 and the Magic. So you can see this one has a lot more blue in it. This is more of a true silver. Here's the Masquerade. I think I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the lighter blue, like right there. All right, here is Masquerade, and here is Warrior 3. All right, next I have the Warrior 2, which I feel like these are polar opposites, but I am gonna go ahead and swatch this deeper red right here. I'm going to do my hand just because I'm giving my arm a moment to dry. If I do it while it's still tacky, it'll mess up the swatches. But here is Warrior 2 and Warrior 3. So obviously the Warrior 2, it's much more of a brown based red. All right, so here is the Douce. I don't find anything here to be super similar, but I guess I'll go ahead and swatch the two silvers. I actually think that these two palettes would be really complementary to each other. Oh yeah, those are nothing alike. Here is the Douce and here is Warrior 3. All right, here we have the original Warrior. I don't see anything comparable. All right, next I have the Tribe, and I think there's nothing really comparable here. Someone might say the two greens, but they are completely different. This shade Tootsie is like a light mid-tone green. This is much, much deeper, but I guess I'll just go ahead and swatch them both for the sake of being fully thorough. So there is the Tribe and there is Warrior 3. Here's the Saharan 2. The only thing I see similar here is the two metallic blues, so I'll swatch those. So here's Saharan 2 and Warrior 3. They're kind of similar, but Warrior 3 again has a little tiny touch of that purple to it. It's almost a duochrome, like it's the most subtle duochrome, but I can see it a little bit, whereas the Saharan 2 blue is more of a true regular blue, but they're both stunning by all means. My camera's so confused because it wants to focus on the little people's faces on this palette instead of me. But the only thing I see comparable here, this is the Festival, is the reds. Here's Festival and Warrior 3. I feel like that was a horrible swatch on my part, but you can see that they're different. All right, last but not least, we have the Zulu palette, which I can definitely see where these two palettes look the same. I think the actual undertones of the shades are different, but they kind of have almost the same color story going on, just tiny little tweaks to each color. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch as many shades as I can to show you. So here, I'll start off. I'll just go like in order of the Warrior 3 palette. So there is a matte green in the Warrior 3 and a matte teal in Zulu, but I can tell you the matte formula of Warrior feels so much more creamy. So there's Warrior. Oh gosh, horrible swatches. And there is Zulu. All right, next they both have a matte yellow. So here is Warrior and here is Zulu. Next they both have a matte red. So here is Warrior and Zulu. Next they both have a matte orange. So here is Warrior and Zulu. Those two are quite different. Next, they both have a matte purple. So here is Warrior and Zulu. Right, so the last four shades, there's a hot pink, which is not in the Zulu. There is a metallic blue, which I'll swatch the two metallic blues next to each other just to show you. And then there's the silver and the blue. And I don't find any of those to really be close to what's happening in here, but I'll swatch the two blues just to show you. Here is Warrior and here is Zulu. So looking at these all swatched out, I would say that both of the palettes have a very similar color story. You kind of get different undertones. You kind of get a few different pairing shades with each palette. I don't necessarily think that you would need to have both. I really, really love this blue here. Like, I just think it is such a pretty shade, but yeah, so there they are. I hope that was really helpful for anyone who was kind of debating on this based on how Zulu looks. All right, so that is everything for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you have any more questions at all, please feel free to leave them down below. And also, quick little sneak peek, I did get an email from Juvias Place that they are sending me the Nomad palette, so I am hoping to have a video up on that on Monday. So keep your eyes open for that. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe if you like my content, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.